2 weeks ago, the most dominant team in MotoGP history failed to get a single rider on the podium. Their champion retired with a blown tyre. Their two-time world champion finished 9th, and the man widely expected to replace him at Ducati next year finished 2nd on a KTM, while an Aprilia crossed the line 5 seconds clear of the field. Now Ducati arrives in Brazil, at a circuit nobody has ever raced at MotoGP pace, with a question they have not asked themselves in years. What if Aprilia is actually faster? And answering that question starts with understanding why this particular weekend, at this particular circuit, could make everything worse before it gets better. Brazil is not just a new venue, it is a reset button pressed at precisely the wrong moment for the sport's dominant force. Bagnaia last hosted a 500 cubic centimetre Grand Prix in 1989. The circuit has been resurfaced and modernised, but there are no MotoGP reference points, no simulator data, no setup advantage, built over years of visits. Every rider, every engineer, every manufacturer starts from the same place. And into that vacuum walks a Ducati team that has spent 2 weeks since Thailand asking a question it has not had to ask in years. Are we still the fastest bike on the grid? It was Bagnaia who said out loud what the paddock was already thinking. We are not any more the fastest. Then, trying to contain the damage, the others made an improvement and we did a step back, so we need to understand why. He also said he believed Ducati would respond. I'm convinced that Ducati will be back where it belongs. Brazil will answer that in real time, on a track where nobody has any idea what setup to bolt onto the bike when the garage doors open. Before we go any further, if you enjoy real MotoGP analysis, the politics, the technology, the stories behind the headlines, subscribe. Now back to why Brazil makes everything more complicated for the man Ducati is counting on most. Bagnaia circuit does not just challenge Ducati. It targets Marquez specifically. 9 right-hand corners and 5 left-handers, almost the exact inverse of the Sachsenring, where Marquez has been untouchable for a decade on the strength of his ability to attack left-hand bends with a commitment no other rider can match. Right-hand corners have never been his strength. Since his 2020 surgery, the problem deepened, and the shoulder injury sustained at Mandalika last October, a fracture of the coracoid process after being struck by Bezzecchi, has added a new limitation that was still visible throughout Thailand. He is running the less physically demanding 2024 aerodynamic package, specifically because his shoulder cannot handle the load of the 2026 setup under heavy braking. I already understood in the Barreram test that in some moments, especially in right corners, I'm not able to save it, he admitted, and then, with the kind of candour that only a rider completely at ease with, his own vulnerability can deliver. The entry of the corner at the moment, I'm not feeling good. The braking position, and if you don't brake in a good position, then you are not in the perfect position in the middle of the corner. He is currently 23 points behind Acosta in the championship. On a circuit that seems designed to expose the exact limitation he is still working to manage. When asked about Brazil, his response was characteristically optimistic, but notably brief. Let's see. I hope it will be in Brazil. I'm always optimistic. The question nobody can answer yet is whether optimism is enough on a right-handed circuit nobody has ever mapped at MotoGP pace. Do you think Brazil suits Ducati or Aprilia? And does the right-hand layout hurt Marquez's title chances more than the points gap already suggests? Drop your answer in the comments. While Ducati arrives searching for answers, Aprilia arrives with the one thing no data can replace: confidence. Thailand was not a good weekend that happened to produce a win. It was a statement. 4 Aprilia riders in the top 5. A margin of 16 seconds to the race winner. The fastest lap. The pole position, and the only man to finish that race on a pace that no Ducati could match. Bezzecchi, heading into Brazil, was unambiguous about the mood in Noale. There is no lack of motivation. I'm sure it will be great to race in a new country and meet new fans. He arrives 7 points behind championship leader Acosta, with the fastest bike in the field over a full race distance, and a circuit layout that, with no data available to anyone, cannot be prejudged as unfavourable. Even former Ducati team manager Francesco Guidotti tried to reassure the paddock that Thailand was not catastrophic for Borgo Panigale. Realistically speaking, an outcome like the Thailand GP is not a drama for Ducati, he said, but the Circuit GP one described as Marquez's kryptonite, arriving while the champion manages a shoulder that has not fully healed, suggests that Brazil may not be the redemption round Ducati is waiting for. And then there is the wild card that no data model can account for: Diogo Moreira. Brazil's first MotoGP Grand Prix rider is arriving at his home circuit, the one track on the calendar where the entire field starts from zero while he does not. The 21-year-old from São Paulo won the 2025 Moto2 World Championship before stepping up to the Premier class with LCR Honda, and he already knows Goiânia from laps completed before the resurfacing. He knows the layout, the rhythm, the flow of a track that will be a complete mystery to every other rider when the garage doors open on Friday morning. Franco Morbidelli, who rode the circuit on a street bike during a promotional event last year, called it very nice and interesting. It almost looks like a stadium. Luca Marini, who also rode a few laps on a CBR, said he found it pretty twisty, but neither of them has felt it at MotoGP pace. Moreira has something closer than that. In Thailand, he scored points on debut, quietly, without any crowd behind him, without the adrenaline of a home race. In Brazil, with tens of thousands of supporters in the grandstands and the entire grid effectively starting their data collection from scratch. The question is not whether he can produce a surprise. The question is how significant a surprise it can be, and whether Honda's package, still finding its feet in 2026, gives him enough machinery to translate local knowledge into a genuinely unexpected result. Can Aprilia back up Thailand at a completely unknown circuit? Or does Ducati's greater technical resource give them the advantage when nobody has any data? Will Marquez's right shoulder hold on a track built around right-hand corners? And how far up the order does Diogo Moreira go in front of his home crowd? If you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe. There is a lot more of this coming. Leave your answers in the comments below.